What is the science of devotion?
The science of devotion. There is a science of devotion. But the thing is to understand that devotion is about love. And perhaps it's a science of love, but nobody really knows it. If you are devoted to a master, it serves a very powerful purpose. It allows you to feel love. The best channel to open up between someone who can teach you and yourself is one of love. It's the best possible channel. You could have a channel of respect, you could have a channel of attention, but if you have a channel of love, it means you're totally open to them, and that you completely open yourself to what they have to give, so that whatever it is they do have to give reaches its destination in you. The thing is, when you love a master, it doesn't really matter if he's good or bad, or who he is to himself, or who he is to others. It's not important. What's important is who he is to you. You don't love the master because he behaves a particular way or says a particular thing. You love him because he's blessed you. You love him because there's a real connection between you. That somewhere, somehow, your heart was touched. And that connection grew. In my case, I met my master when he was 16 and I was 18. And I recognized him immediately. Completely recognized him immediately. And the first time I saw him in person was in London, and he was doing this big event in London. And I was arriving late, so I couldn't get in. So I thought I'll go around the back, maybe I'll see him. And it just so happened as I arrived round the back, he came walking towards me. And it wasn't very big, and very golden and smiling. And he walked straight towards me. And the next thing I know, my knees have buckled and I've collapsed into the gutter. And there in the gutter is a rose, a beautiful rose. So I pick up the rose and I make to offer as he walks by. And then I just thought, what was that? And then he couldn't get in either. So he's standing at this doorway, waiting for the doorway to be unlocked from inside. So I go and stand with him and I speak his name, Bara! And I'm right close to him, but I speak it from a sort of arrogant place. And he doesn't even register on him. But it kind of echoed back to me. And it produced for me an insight which told me, in no uncertain terms, that this was a relationship where he would speak and I would listen. And in so, I would be benefited. And so then, that's exactly how it's been. It's now like 40 odd years later. And I still haven't spoken to him, but I've listened and he's spoken to me. And he's spoken to my heart. And by speaking to my heart, he has awakened it to love. And you could say, oh, do you feel devotion to your master? I wouldn't put it in that box. In fact, I wouldn't put my relationship with my master in any box at all. Because there is no way that my mind, the conceptualizer in me, knows what that's about. but it's beautiful. It's the most beautiful thing. And you know, it's like what I realized the other day, after all this time, was that in actual fact that the student and the teacher and the master are actually one. It's an event. The existence of the student and the master is an event. It's a happening thing. And really it's how the universe cognizes itself. It's a drama in which one aspect of the universe, of the creation, feels intense gratitude for the creation. And it's that relationship that brings this about. It's a transcendent gratitude. When I go to my master and I bow my head at his feet and say, thank you, Master, so much for saving me. It doesn't flash through his mind what that means to me. He doesn't know me. It's like there was a story about these devotees. They had a master, and the master said, okay, I'm leaving you guys for a while. I'm going to go and meditate in a cave in the mountains. I'll be back later. So off goes the master, and after a couple of weeks they all have a dream. And in the dream the master says, do not go and join the army and fight, because the enemy is 10 times as big as you think. Do not go and fight. You'll all be slaughtered. So they all wake up. Did you have the dream? Yeah, I had the dream. So they don't go and fight, and consequently the people who went, there was a massive slaughter. So then when the Guruji comes back down the mountain, oh, Guruji, you saved us, you saved us. He said, what do you mean? I said, well, we had a dream. You came in a dream. And he said, I don't know anything about it. So it's a very extraordinary thing, this love, this devotion. But it opens the heart. We think science of devotion. We want something to get a handle on. We want some way to objectify it. But devotion is the perfection of love. And devotion accesses you to the great liberation. What would be the point of being enlightened if the truth you found wasn't love? There'd be no point. It would just be a passing estate. And then you also see people who have great devotion to gods. And the same principle applies. It doesn't matter that the god is a statue. It's still a mirror. It's still something that can be projected upon and receive a projection back in some way. Each person gets the master differently. Each person gets the God differently. For some people, devotion, bhakti, is their liberating way. It just really works for them. For other people, they need a philosophical approach. And they're jhanis in the Hindu tradition, or Buddhists.
Do you think those traditions are irreconcilable? Or?
No, I was just going to say, I think the best way is when you have those two things merging together. So you feel the love, you feel the gratitude, you feel humility. When you're in the presence of a master who he has chosen you and accepted you as a student, you have chosen and accepted him as your master, there you can be humble. There has to be somewhere where we're humble. Otherwise, it can get a bit weird. People pursuing the spiritual path without somewhere or something to which they prostrate or are completely humble to can be a tree, can be a starry night, can be your partner, can be your master, can be a god. But there has to be something that you completely prostrate to, in awe, something that embodies the awesome, the truly awesome magnificence of this life. So a bit of both is best. Somebody who's all bhakti, they're missing out on what they could be realizing. And somebody who's all philosophically realizing, they're missing out on what they could be loving. So both together, I think, is the perfect thing. It's like somebody who meditates but doesn't inquire, they just have peace. And someone who inquires and doesn't meditate, they just have understanding. You get them both together, you have realization. So any way you do it's fine. I'm not here to make people wrong. The fact that there is devotion is a very simple thing. If it works for you, enjoy. If it doesn't, then don't. But whatever happens, don't hate. Don't hate. If for some reason the one you loved, you don't love anymore, your master, I can't imagine it, but if you, people sometimes are like this, don't hate. Move on. Grow your love somewhere else. But don't waste time hating, because it sets up currents of energy that don't cause flowers to bloom. Any kind of love is good. Any kind of hate is bad. Devotion purifies the heart and burns away obscure feelings, purifies. There's this picture of Lord Ram, and he's hugging Hanuman, who is in fact a monkey, but his best devotee, did everything right, did everything properly. And that inspires me. Don't act it, it can't be acted. It is like, you know, when people pretend to laugh, and when people pretend to be devotees, it makes me, I don't like it. I don't like it when people pretend to laugh. I don't like it. I don't like it when people are pretending to be devotees. But if you meet one, a real devotee, you only have to look in their eyes. And the answer to your question, what is the science of devotion, is answered by one look in a true devotee's eyes.